Welcome to Sunrise Coaching Institution. This is Anumula Polity class. Today we are taking Indian polity historical background. So in the previous class we discussed about Charter Act 1773. Now today it was a continuous class of these historical background of Indian polity. After the 1773 Charter Act, 1781 Regulating Act, 1781 Act, it is called Act of Settlement. Act of Settlement. So British government, whenever given permission to the East India Company, in 1600 the East India Company lost its 1 million pounds of rupees. They came to British Crown and asked help. Whenever they asked help, the British government started to regulating acts. Regulating means the company which was actually went to the India, it should be earn something profits, but instead of earning profit, that company was get loss. So British wanted to interfere in this East India Company affairs. The first it was given Charter Act 1773, which was completely failed. After that 1781 Act, which was called Act of Settlement. By this act, the government, British government, announces in India we possessed some territories. So in this Act of Settlement, where East India Company, example, Diwani rights, wherever the Diwani rights East India Company got, the British Crown said the total areas of the East India Company was possessed by the British Crown. This is importance of the 1781 Act, nothing else. After that 1784, in 1784 this act is called Pitt's India Act. Pitt's India Act. So Pitt's India Act, why should it is called as a Pitt's India Act means the then Prime Minister of England name was Pitt the Younger. So the act which was introduced by the Pitt the Younger, the name was given this act as a Pitt's India Act. So 1784, whenever this crown was introduced this act, the main purpose of these British regulating acts to control and regulate the affairs of the East India Company. But 1773 it was completely failed. Then now East India Company to control and regulate, Pitt the Younger, the then Prime Minister, established two separate bodies. What are the separate two bodies? Two bodies established. What are the two bodies? That two bodies were, the first one it is called Court of Directors. Court of Directors. Court of Directors. The second one is called Board of Control. Board of Control. These two bodies taking responsibilities in two ways. Court of Directors given functions only commercial affairs. Only commercial affairs. What is the commercial affairs? We know that business, trading, all these are comes under the commercial affairs. The same time the board of control given political affairs. Political affairs. What comes under this political affairs? Like military, revenue, administration. So the Pitts wanted to stabilize or regulate the East India Company. He established two bodies. Court of Director completely it was concentrated on the commercial affairs like East India Company business and trade, and Board of Control political affairs, that is it was looking after military, revenue and administration. So these two responsibilities, whenever it was divided, this Act 1784 Pitts India Act is called double government. Double government. So why this is called double government means here without knowing there was two system was working, so that it is called double government. So about this Pitts India Act 1784, and now come to the point 1783 Regulating Act. 1783 Regulating Act, if you see this act completely 1793 Regulating Act. 1793 regulate. In 1793 once again the British government was passed this act. By this act they started every 20 years British government extend the term of the East India Company. East India Company, the major function was to trade in India. So the trading, how they are trading, how much money they are earning and how much they pay to the British government as a royalty, it should be every 20 years it should be regulated. After 20 years, that means we know that 1773, in 1773 the first regulating act. After that 20 years 1793 act was introduced. Here in this 1793 governor provided veto power. What is the veto power here? So governor and his council, whenever they take decisions, governor has a power to reject the decisions of the council. And even by this act the municipalities empowered imposing taxes on the people. So the municipalities which was existed, by this act the municipalities empowered to collect the taxes from the people. So this is only 1793 information. Now come to the point 1813 Regulating Act. 1813 Regulating Act. As per the rule and condition, every 20 years the British government promised to extend the term of the East India Company. As per the 20 years term, this is 1813. So 20 years after again it was extended. In this 1813, the British East India Company, which has the monopoly on trade, British government was removed because British government provided the trading authority to other Europeans also. Here only East India Company has a total monopoly. That monopoly power completely removed because British allowed other Europeans also can trade in India. By this act, what happened? The monopoly removed. Only they given monopoly on trade with China and trade of tea. These two has monopoly to East India Company. EIC, East India Company. East India Company has the monopoly only on trade with China and trade of tea. On these two, East India Company has monopoly. But remaining other things, other Europeans also provided right to trade. And not only that, by this act, British government allowed Christian missionaries to enter in India to propagate Christianity. So by this way, the religious encouragement was started by this act. Religious encouragement means Christian missionaries who tried to come India and propagate the Christianity. Earlier it was not a chance to them. By this act they allowed. And even the British government also provided 1 lakh money to develop education in India. So these are the important points of the 1813 Regulating Act. Now the major change happens by 1833 Act. What was the major change of the 1833 Act? We know that by 1813, 20 years, after 20 years, that is 1813 plus 20 years, 1833 Regulating Act. Act 1833 Regulating Act. After 20 years, again British government was extended term of the East India Company where it was trading in India. 1833 Act, what was very, very important here, Governor of Bengal made Governor General of Bengal. The Governor of Bengal made Governor General of Bengal. Here major important point you should understand, because by this act the governor made as a Governor General of Bengal and provided all legislative powers in him. What is the meaning of provided all legislative powers in him? 1773, where 1773 centralizing, see here, centralizing system started. By 1773 Act, centralizing system it was started. That means the total powers, legislative powers, executive powers given to the governors of each province of Bengal, Madras, Mumbai. Now, whenever Bengal governor made as a Governor General of Bengal, the total powers, see here, so here Mumbai and here Bengal and here Madras. The Bengal Governor General, the total legislative powers given to the Governor General of Bengal. Now, the starting of the centralizing system by 1833, it was reaches climax of centralizing. Means after 1833, whenever governor made as a Governor General of Bengal, the total legislative powers before this act, every governor has legislative powers as well as executive powers. But whenever the Bengal governor made as a Governor General, all legislative powers completely vested in him, provided all the legislative powers in Governor General of Bengal. And now the governors of Mumbai and Madras made subordinate to him. That means they should obey the legislative authority of the Governor General of Bengal. Now this is the very, very important point. The first Governor General was Governor General was William Bentinck. The first Governor General was William Bentinck, and Madras, Bombay and Madras governors made subordinate to the William Bentinck. Right? Now here, by this act, British government was allowed Indians also appoint in the government offices and place any authority offices, and allowed to write covenanted services, that is civil services. So this act, British government passed this act and allowed Indians also can admit and enter into the civil services, which in those days called covenanted civil services. Covenanted means higher civil services. But the covenanted civil services, whenever this act allowed, the court of directors rejected. Court of Directors rejected the permission of Indians enter into higher civil services. So this was completely negated by the Court of Directors, where they have a authority on the higher civil services. And even by this act they try to abolish slavery system. This is also objected by the Court of Directors. So these are the important points of the 1833 Regulating Act. Right? Now, after 1833, again 1853, that means after 20 years, which we are saying the 20 years term is a extended period of the East India Company. Now, 1853, where East India Company got 20 years permission once again to trade in India. 1853 Regulating Act. Regulating Act 1853. So 1833, after 20 years, again the East India Company extended the 20 years term. But 1853, whenever this act was passed, the major point here, they won't mention further extension of the 20 years by this act. That meaning 1853, after 1873, once again East India Company should get permission to trade. But it was not mentioned in this act. Particularly, they won't given any particular term in this act. So it is clearly indicating how long British Crown pleased to the East India Company, so long the company can trade in India. The clear indication of this act was, we understood, further there is no chance of the East India Company to trade in India. Right? And the major point here, higher civil services open to all. See here. And 1854, in 1854, All India Civil Service, that means civil service examination conduction or conducting this examination duty was provided. Lord Macaulay, in 1854, Lord Macaulay made a civil service officer, where Lord Macaulay introduced civil service exam for all. That means it was open to all, means Indians also allowed to write higher civil service exams. In 1833, whenever the Court of Director rejected, how it is possible? This time British government understood after a long years back why in India, how many times British government was regulating or controlling, try to control and try to regulate the East India Company, but it was not completely regulated. Every act was completely failed. Why? There is a lot of story behind that. What it is called means, the total officers, wherever the British government introducing this act, implementation was only by the officers. That officers are civil service officers. All these officers are under the control of Court of Directors. Why? Because in England, there was a college called Haileybury College. This college located in England, only this college have a permission to provide admission to the people who wanted to become as a civil servants. This college under the control of Court of Directors. So Court of Director rejected, Indian should not be joined. So this is the reason All the officers who comes from this college, they obedient to the court of directors, and whatever the regulations are passed by the British government, these officers not followed. This immediately, whenever British government understand, they won't extend it further to the East India Company in India to trade in India. And finally, this college was completely, the court of director authority completely removed. Indians also allowed to enter into the civil service exams. This is a major change, and it was clear there is no further extension. And finally, this act was given a chance to Indians to join in the Indian civil service, and Lord Macaulay was appointed in the civil services examination, right? And he was an officer appointed as a chairman to the Council of the Civil Service. So these are the story of the historical background, which we are called all regulating acts. Regulating or charter acts. We know that 1773, 1793, 1813, 1833 and finally 1853. So this is one part, because at this time the total powers in the hands of the East India Company. Now after this 1853, the great revolution started in India, which was called Sipahi Mutiny, and for Indians it is called the first war of independence. The first war of independence, when it was occurred in 1857, Sipahi Mutiny or the first war of independence. The first war of independence. Independence of India. So after that, the British Crown passes